Hello there and welcome back to my channel. It's that time again to create another tier list for a national final from Eurovision 2023, and the reviews that I've been making lately on my channel have been from the Lithuanian national final. So those 10 songs that are in the final that will take place tomorrow are the ones that I will try and place in this tier list that you can see on the screen right now. Um, just a heads up right early here, if you can hear a lot of background noise in this video, then there's nothing I can do about that because it's raining cats and dogs outside here in Sweden. There's a storm is coming, let's say. So I apologize for that if it's an inconvenience. Regardless of anything, I hope that you can still look past that and just enjoy listening to me talk about some songs that we can see here on the screen. 10 songs, as I said, we have in this national final. I think it's a pretty solid selection. Like, usually when you've had like semis and stuff, there are rarely songs that I would put in the bottom category because I think those probably tend to have been eliminated by this point. And that is the case today. However, I have quite a few songs actually that I think are probably just alright or I guess enjoyable. Not really too many that I think are like the top tier of potential entries for Eurovision, but there are a few, I'd say. It's not one of the worst national finals that I've heard this season, and it's probably not one of the best, but it has some gems, I'd say. Regardless of anything, let's start with the song that I would probably like to place at the bottom of this list, but it's still gonna be in the It's Alright category, and that song is called Rumor. Rumor is like a very harmless effort, I think. There's a charming staging to this, but like this concept of the staging with the plant and the lamp, I think that works mainly in the opening parts of the song, and then once the song really kicks into gear, it becomes very upbeat. You kind of lose that little cozy magic touch that the staging layout has going for it. It just gets drowned out by all of the light surrounding everything here. I think there are fun ideas in here. There's a bit of vocal layering, and there are, this. There are a few instrumental touches here and there that are actually quite fun, but I think like it's at the same time a bit uninteresting and lackluster. I'd say like instrumentally, not really my thing. I think rhythmically it's very straight and uninspired. Not really like this. Like the song has a very calm and mellow mood, and I think that only works to a certain extent because it gets a bit repetitive towards the end, I'd say. I think it's just kind of the issue is that it's a bit like middle of the road and one note throughout the song. It doesn't really leave a massive impression on me, and the main thing that I remember after listening to it is just the visual side of things of this performance. I remember the lamp and the plant, and I remember her headband or whatever you call it. I tend to not remember anything about the song, which is quite unfortunate. Even though there are like a few playful ideas in there, I think melodically and rhythmically it's not quite strong enough. But an alright effort. I can see why it's in the final, but I don't think that this will end up towards the top of their national final. Then again, I'm terrible at predicting, so don't take my word for that. Let's move on with another song which I think is quite alright. Like the song Sparnai was the first one I listened to, and it left an impression on me for sure. Like vocally, it's very convincing. I think they work well on stage. But as I look back on all of the songs that I've listened to, this one is probably the one that I found the least appealing, I guess. I don't really connect with anything that's going on in the song. It's very tries to be quite epic and grand in a sense, but I think the instrumental side of things here completely lets that part down. It's like I think the main issue is probably like very underwhelming drumming for a song that really wants to have this drive and impact in it. Tries to be anthemic, has the vocals to be that. The drumming and the instrumental overall doesn't really back that up, and I think it just kind of falls a bit flat because of that. Still quite alright, but not really a favorite of mine, I gotta say. We got 8 more songs. Let's see what we should take next. Should we actually move up a category? It's an enjoyable selection the more I think about it. I kind of enjoyed all of these, I'd say. Yeah, let's actually move up a section. Let's go with Stay. Or, yeah. No, I'm gonna put the... Sorry, I'm changing my mind right in the middle of it. Stay is alright for me. I think that she and her backing vocalists elevate this to a point where it's really not kind of supposed to be. Because from a songwriting aspect, I think this one is quite, I wouldn't say poor, but I would say I'm just skeptical towards it. I'd probably say that mostly. Um, there's like an effective opening to the song, and I like how everything starts off in the song. There's a nice color grading on stage. It's very effective in how the song builds. But when the first chorus comes in, it's very upbeat, and it kind of takes you out of what you expected the song to be. And that's not really like necessarily a negative thing. It's just that it's so out of place and kind of just has this impact that's very odd rhythmically to kind of connect with the prior segment, as well as this kind of melody that you come across within this upbeat section is incredibly one note and repetitive, which I think is quite unfortunate. It kind of gets colored throughout the song because there are, you know, backing vocalists that add harmonies on this melody, but it's like at its core, it's so uninteresting to me. Mainly like the melodic side of things here. But yeah, it's just too much of an issue for me to really enjoy it. I think it can look really cool in like a recap slot or anything, but when I listen to the whole thing for 3 minutes, I think it's an uneven listening experience. It has a bit too much of like a jittery up and down feeling to it, and the hook is just really not my thing. It's like a great vocal arrangement in terms of harmonies, but melodically, I'm quite underwhelmed, I gotta say. And it gets a bit on the repetitive side towards the end, I'd say as well. But it's all right. It's all right. It has qualities in there, but yeah, let's move into the enjoyable ones now. At least the ones that I consider to be enjoyable. Should we just start with one that is really enjoyable, which is called "Need More Fun"? Because this one, I mean, it's basically, I mean, the adjective enjoyable is basically just this song. I mean, it's fun performance, fun approach, catchy hook, polished sound. I like the panning in the song. I think there are nice details throughout the song, scattered everywhere. Fun performance, as I said. I guess it kind of feels a little bit split up. Like verses and chorus don't really feel like they're on the same page throughout the song, but it's, I guess, part of a little bit, like it's a part of all of the charm and the chaos in it, I guess, as well at the same time. And I think just kind of the delivery of it is what really just makes it a lot of fun to both listen to and watch. I think it's a great performance. I think it has a nice hook to it. Yeah, it drags me along and it keeps me intrigued for 3 minutes, and yeah, that's really what it manages to do. So yeah, solid one. I enjoy it. I really do. Let's go for. There's another song which. Let's see. Wait, two, four. We got 6 songs left. Wow, pretty good selection. Let's go with Saukshmas or something like that. Yeah, I don't think you can kind of see on this picture what this song is, but it's the one that's called Saukshmas. I think. I think there's like a nice sound design in this one. It's just really well written altogether. It's a nice little pretty composition. Um, it's like a playful little drumming within the song. There's a very crisp sound to it. I think the production quality of this one is really, really strong. Vocally, quite pleasant as well. I think probably the main issue of it is that it might lack like a melodic hook that really just leaves an impression. But as an overall listening experience, it's just really pleasant and easy to nod along to and just get dragged into whatever is going on. I think he's strong on stage and especially vocally as well. I think like a lot of positive things about it that make it enjoyable, but there is also like a little bit of missed potential within the song. I think even though like the sound stage throughout the song is quite nice, I think that there's also lacking a little bit of a progression throughout the song. Like the final segment of the song isn't quite where I want it to be. Like throw in a guitar, make it grander there at the end. It really would have fitted with this approach that they had in the sound as well. I really think like some distortion there towards the end, just kind of push it over the line, make it a bit grander, like a bigger ending, basically. I think this one would have just been pushed above the line then and could have been considered a really great alternative. But as it is now, I just find it enjoyable. It's a pleasant song to listen to, very easy to like it, I'd say, but doesn't really leave a very memorable impression, I'd say. Um, I think the remaining 5 songs do leave an impression, and I'd say let's start with the song that's called it's what's called? Let me take a look at my cheat notes. Let Me Think About Me. That's what it's called. Enjoyable one. It has a really nice hook to it. I think that like this pop chorus is just kind of just right for what it wants to be. There's like an anthemic sound in the vocal side of things here, I think, but the instrumental doesn't really match it, I'd say. It feels like kind of a recurring pattern here. I kind of talked down a lot on the instrumentals in this selection, and I don't really know why. I guess it's just a running theme in this final for me. Um, I think mainly, like, my main issue is probably with the chorus. Like, the approach that they take vocally in the chorus here is so grand and epic and just this pop banger type of hook. But the instrumental just kind of doesn't match that ambition, I'd say. Very mellow sounding synths that don't really carry an impact. The drumming is a bit flat and colorless, I guess. It's just like the sound is too mellow instrumentally to really match the ambition that the chorus wants to be grand and explosive and very in your face and compelling. It really tries to be grander than it actually is, and I think that's kind of a mismatch in that sense. Everything else about it is really enjoyable. I just feel like the potential is really there to be an absolutely stunning pop banger, but it's not quite there, and that's down to the instrumental, I'd say. We got 4 songs left. I think these 4 are probably clear head and shoulders above the rest. No, it's not clear, but these 4, I'm very confident that these 4 are my favorite from the selection. Let's start with the song that's called So Low, because I think this one, it would be a great alternative. I'm just going to say that right away. The visual appeal of it, the aesthetic, it's really just tangible in a way. However, this one I also do have a few flaws with. There are 2 songs that we have left here that I have flaws with, and the other 2 are my very clear top 2. So there's like a little bit of a divide between the 4 songs remaining. But this one, I feel like the production quality isn't quite up to the standards of other songs in the selection. Again, it's like an instrumental issue, which is quite ironic. Vocally, it's incredibly strong, very palpable melody and delivery of it. It's a sound overall that stands out, both instrumentally and vocally. And I think that due to it standing out instrumentally, maybe it's not really a massive issue. The fact that I think the production quality of it isn't quite up to par. But it has a lot of charm, so that kind of, I guess, balances it out. I think the aesthetic on stage and in the sound design is quite tangible. Doesn't really have the drive that I wanted to have, but it's still a very pleasant, laid-back kind of listening experience to have. I could put this on at any time and just kind of get dragged along with this wonderful melody that I think the chorus has. It's a very nicely written song altogether. It's just that the production quality needs to be a bit more polished for me to really click with it. I think there needs a little bit more drive within the song. But overall package is great. Performance is great. Vocal delivery is fantastic. So yeah, would be a great alternative. I wouldn't mind this one representing Lithuania at all. I also wouldn't mind if the song Do What You Do ends up representing Lithuania. This is the other one, however, where I have a little bit of an issue, like arrangement-wise, I think it mainly is. I love the playfulness of this song. I love the attitude of it. There's a very characteristic tone throughout the song. It's kind of, I guess, sarcastic in a little bit of a way as well. And I think his delivery of everything is really strong. He has great charisma. I like the little playful staging with both lighting and this chair that he's kicking away during the performance. Cool ideas on the soundstage as well. I love this playful contrast in the choruses where you have the gritty hits contrasted with this really bright and thin horn sound. Very rhythmically engaging that little segment. However, there's like an over-reliance towards this approach that they have in the chorus, so that when you get to the third chorus, you feel like, oh, well, it's kind of uninteresting now because I've heard this so many times before and there's nothing new being introduced to it. I like the fact that during the breakdown section in the song, there's like a little bit of a variation instrumentally. There's a guitar being thrown in. So I'm just kind of sat there wondering, why not incorporate that for the final chorus to actually create a bigger impact for the final chorus, some more drive. I mean, you've already introduced this instrument utilize it. It kind of driving me insane just thinking about it. That it's like the chorus is the same as the previous two, without really being enhanced in terms of its impact and drive here. So I'm left a bit confused there. I still think it's a lot of fun listening to this song. I think the attitude is spot on. I think the performance is great. Would be a great alternative. Sorry. Also really like the input of this like ticking clock that it has throughout the song as well, scattered here and there. Just fun detail, you know. Yeah, great alternative. Would like to see it represent Lithuania, but there are two songs that I would rather like to see as well, and one of them is called Like a Movie. This one, as I said, there's a divide between this one and the two below it, and the of course the six below that as well. Like a Movie, energetic as hell. I like how it's kind of like mellow in its sound delivery from the guitars. It's not like really heavily distorted. It's more like a charming approach in the impact that it has, and that's just being kind of backed up, or like what do you call it? There's a compromise being made there because the energy and the intensity of the song is just through the roof. So not everything has to be that in your face, because then it would just be a loud war of sound and noise, I guess. The way that it is right now, I think it's very warm and inviting. It's really easy to be part of an audience or just a listening audience and just get dragged into everything that's going on here, especially when you have the performance that's probably, or not probably, it is the strongest live performance from this final. I'd say she's, you know, born to be on stage. Simple as that. She loves every second of it. You can definitely see that, like that shines through on screen. She's everywhere, all at once throughout the stage, running back and forth, just kind of creating this really inviting atmosphere on stage, and just wants everyone to be involved with the energy and impulse that this song really radiates from. Yeah, phenomenal performance that just knocked it out of the park, simply. Great hook to the song, love the energy of it, love the intensity of it. Think the arrangement is great. The drumming is very what do you call it? I feel like I'm using the word energetic all over, but that's really what it is. I love the drum fills. I love just the intensity of this drumming as well, and it's matched well by the other instruments as well. It's kind of it's a little bit of like a thin instrumental in a sense. There's not a lot of instruments just being showcased here, but they're just the right amount to really let the vocal really take over and the performance be the absolute focal point. So if this is your favorite from the selection, I would have no argument with that. It would probably be mine as well. If not, I had been incredibly moved and touched by the song that's called Love of My Life. This, in my opinion, you know, I would just be absolutely thrilled if Lithuania ends up going for this one. I'm not sure if they should. Like that's a whole different thing, because I'm not sure if it would be appreciated in a larger context in terms of a song contest where every country is fighting for the same spots in the final. But the way that this song just makes me feel listening to it for 3 minutes straight, it's something out of the ordinary. I feel like it's just, what do you call it? Like every time there's a hit on the piano, it's like packed with such a depth and substance that it just leaves this kind of, it's a song that holds my breath for the entire runtime of it, because it's played so carefully and arranged in such a way that the intimacy is really, really palpable. And that's really what sets it apart, I think. Staging layout is wonderful. Really just enhances that feeling of, I guess it sounds of like claustrophobia, but also just intimacy. It feels like she's opening up herself in a very private way, that it almost feels a bit uncomfortable to be led inside. But the more she keeps going, the more intrigued I get. There's a certain type of comfort in the uncomfortableness, which doesn't make any sense at all. But it really feels like you're being invited into something so personal, and the way that all of these piano notes just kind of hold both her and your breath going forward throughout the song, it feels so genuine and hard hitting for me. Love, especially like towards the end of the song, the chord intervals that take over, absolutely wonderful. that just kind of enhances this feeling of it's all about her, and she decides where this song is going. Because if you just followed along for the lineup for the hell of it, you would just kind of expect where every part of the song is going. But the use of pausing, the use of careful arrangement, being very authentic in its play, like the way that the piano is played is very authentic and real. There's nothing like, what do you call it? Nothing like metronomic about this. You don't play it on the beat. You play it with feeling, and that comes across in such a tangible way here, and especially towards the end where the chords switch up. It's all about following her and the progression that she's taking throughout the song, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. And as well as I said, the staging, like the lighting on the stage here, I love the incorporation of the backing vocals, offering so much. I like the fact that they're sitting down, just being scaled back in the background, kind of like silhouettes mainly. And then you have this little lamp on the table next to it, and the piano just being the centerpiece. It's so hard hitting and visually striking as well. To have a song written by only piano, vocal, and backing vocal, and just be delivered in such a hard hitting way for me, it's absolutely massive and insane. And if this one is appreciated enough to actually win this selection, I don't think many people would be happier than me, because I'm rooting for this one incredibly hard. Not sure if it's the choice that Lithuania should be going for. I think Like a Movie has the greater impact on a general audience, but I think for some people, the listening experience that you get from Love of My Life is hard to match. And those are my overarching opinions on the selection, which I will not pronounce again. It's the one from Lithuania, and you know that. Do share your tier lists in the comments if you want to. I'd be really intrigued to see what yours look like. From what I've understood, there are two main favorites, and those are called Like a Movie and So Low. Maybe you have a different favorite. Maybe you share the favorite that I have. Regardless, please tell me in the comments what you're rooting for, and I wish you all a lovely weekend. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and bye bye.